Aloha, namaste, and thanks for tuning in. This morning we're gonna talk a little bit about the yogic concept of the ego, and just a couple minutes, then we're gonna meditate. But we've been talking a lot about the structure of the mind recently in the last few weeks, and we know that the lowest level of the mind is really our sensory inputs, and then above that is the ahamkara, the ego, the identity. And good morning. And the identity, the ego that we carry around with us, a lot of times it gets a bad rap. People always feel like it's always associated with like crystallization and what we want to let go of, and for good reason, because in a way it really does, it's not our highest capacity. That's the important thing to remember. But it's a natural function of the mind. We need it to navigate our world. We need to sort of remember our likes and dislikes, in order to avoid things that harm us. For example, you're going to have an ego no matter what. You're going to have a personality. Everybody picks an outfit to wear every morning. You got to wear something, right? So where's the problem with the ego? The problem occurs when we start to focus on the ego and sort of maintain its identity despite the influences of our life trying to help us continue to let it change. So this quote from Christopher Wallace from Tantra Illuminated I thought was pretty helpful for understanding this concept. He said, the ego should be a fluid entity, but instead it becomes a static prison. And the idea here is that it should be allowed to change. You're not the same person you were a year ago, 10 years ago, 10 months ago, And the yogic tradition, like our meditation practice, is basically allowing us to keep that ego fluid. And in that way, it's like you get all the benefits of being able to navigate your world, but you let go of the limitations, the crystallization aspects of the ego that are really what caused you the suffering in the first place. An image that comes to mind is that of Nityananda, the root guru of our tradition. If you ever look at pictures of him throughout his life, they all look dramatically different. Like he looks super different in every picture, and it's not because he was changing his hairstyle or something like a rock star. No, he was just so detached from his identity and from this level of crystallization that his body literally underwent changes that normally most of us would hold on to pretty tightly. And you can literally see in pictures from year to year that his entire, everything about him looks so different. And so it's something for us to aspire towards, to let ourselves change. And we can do that every single day with our meditation practice, and that's what we'll do right now. So you're probably already in a pretty comfortable seat that's going to support your spine, but feel free to shuffle around a little bit if you need to. There we go. You can allow the eyes to close, or you can have them open, softly gazing at your altar, whatever supports your practice the most. And begin to slowly lengthen the breath flow, just making it a little smoother, a little slower than normal, but not too much effort. And something that's becoming a staple of almost every practice that I sit down to teach is the slight smile. And the slight smile lets you really focus on the present. That slight smile just sort of pulls you into the feeling of right now, and in this moment, things being okay. what's important about that for our discussion and for our work is that when you're present and when things are okay, when you're relating to the present, then you are rising above the ego and the previous past. It's really all we have to do here is keep relating to the present. Keep our attention in this fluid pulsation. And one of the best ways to do it is with the breath. Applying minimal effort to smooth out the breath. And just feel this rise and fall of the breath. Just like the tide rolling in and rolling back out, constantly erasing the impressions on the beach. Each time you inhale, silently repeating the mantra hum. Each time you exhale, silently repeating the mantra sa. I am that. In our normal life, we're usually saying I am that, and we're pointing at something. But here, pointing at the breath. This constantly changing fluid experience. As you're able to connect more deeply with the breath in this gentle way, you'll find that it draws your focus down lower and lower, down out of the head, towards the heart, maybe even down towards the navel. But we really have to work with the breath. We can't force it. almost like stretching a rubber band. In order to not break it, you have to really feel it as you gently stretch it. As your posture remains very still, you're able to more easily feel the breath. And when you can more easily feel the breath, it's easier for the mind to stay focused on that fluid, ever-changing experience. You begin to really float on the breath. You ride the breath with your attention. A little bit of effort to stay connected, to smooth it out very gently, and a lot of feeling. Occasionally, Swallow. Take a little bit deeper breath to the heart. Activate that slight smile. Use a little bit more effort to smooth out and reconnect to your breath. And then start to really feel it again, like stretching a rubber band. And at a certain point, connecting with this fluid aspect of your identity, you begin to feel the nourishment. The mind relaxes. The nourishment that we usually associate with thoughts or things. After a little bit of work in this way, you start to feel that same nourishment, or even better nourishment, from the present, from the breath, from stillness. And as the attention drifts, it always drifts, into a crystallized thought, right? And so you have to stretch that rubber band. You gotta slowly expand, get a little bit bigger than that thought. Connect to the breath. Connect to the mantra, hum, sa, to the heart. last minute of our practice, you can bring the hands to the sides of the body for a little tension release. Breathing slowly in through the nose, down the throat, into the heart for about 5 to 10 seconds. Holding the breath there in the heart, feeling expansion for the same amount of time. And then slowly exhaling for 5 to 10 seconds. Bringing the visualization of fresh prana flowing in through the nose, down the throat to the heart for that first breath in. As you hold the breath, let it circulate through you, collecting all the debris, all the crystallized little pieces. And as you exhale, let all that flow out of the heart, down the arms and out the hands, smoky, sludgy. Dissolves into the air. Just continue your own pace. Next time you're holding the breath in the heart, you can add the wish. I deeply wish to release all negative tension. And then really feel it go. Let those crystallized pieces of the ego that you broke up with your practice, that are just sort of floating around in there, flush them out with this last breath. And shake out the hands, wipe off the arms. Namaste. And thank you for your attention. Hopefully you can navigate your life a little more skillfully today, trying to find that flow, connecting with your breath throughout your day. And we'll see you soon. Aloha.